Hello, ladies and gents. As you can see, there's a big pile of parts in front of me. Let's build us an engine. You're watching Lambvinskis Garage. Let's get it. Well, what you can see here is what's most of a 318 poly, otherwise known as a 318 semi-hemi, and otherwise a 318 polysphere, or a wide block. This one came from a pickup we got out of Utah. Here's the video for it. It was supposed to be rebuilt, and well, they did a few things in here, but they didn't do a lot of the right things. We'll put it at that. We were just going to throw this engine in another pickup and then sell the pickup, but we found that she turned over pretty tight, and there was a few things missing that just prompted us to pull this thing out and pull it apart. As you can see here, we got brand new standard bore pistons, what I think is probably a new camshaft. There's a new water pump, that's an oil pump, but we got a new water pump too. The rear bearing on the camshaft was extremely tight, and so was the bearing for the number 8 piston. It was really tight too. Thankfully, the truck came with a new set of cam bearings. We just ordered a set of rod bearings, and right now we're actually getting into the head. You can see the inside of this head here. They're pretty neat, and the cool thing about them is they're kind of like a Hemi, so they're offset valves, just not as much. I think Uncle Tony said these are really similar to the underside of a 396 Chevrolet, but they're more side by side, I think. Don't quote me on that, I'm just going by memory. But we just pulled the valves, and look at the size of the seats on them things. These haven't even been touched. It was definitely an oil burner. So we got to go order a set of valves, all that kind of stuff. But pretty soon, this engine will be making smoke, and it's going to go in our little step-side truck, I'm thinking. Because if we're going to put this much work and effort into an engine, why get rid of it? So, let's get her slammed back together. I'll show you some parts as we go along, but let's get this thing running again. While I'm sitting here cleaning up parts for this engine, getting ready to reassemble it, I just want a little public service announcement here, that when they sell you a tube of silicone, you don't have to use the whole thing. Like, wow, a dab will do ya. Just like a dollop of daisy, but holy cats, this is just disgusting. I'm going to be cleaning for a while. Well, I'll be back. Well, we are getting closer all the time. The valves are ground. We're doing the seats now. As you can see, one intake is done. Now that we got it all set up, it's going to go a lot quicker. But all this stuff that we're using is 1960s or even maybe 1950s technology. It's pretty cool stuff, and I'm very thankful that the old man knows how to use it, and he's showing me how to use it, which is pretty cool. So, we're just about ready to get this 318 thrown back together. She's looking pretty good, all the rotating assemblies in, but we got to keep on trucking. Well, would you look at that? A guy leaves her the weekend and shazam! She's all put back together and just like brand new. We've got some cleanup to do over on the other side over here. There's a little bit of stuff from when we rebuilt her. And we got to move all that. And I just, I've been gone for the weekend. And the old man put all this back together, put the rest of it back together anyways, without me here. And that's okay, because I picked up our next project that is unbelievably cool. And I'm really hoping it might go right over there. I'll insert a picture, because I think that's just going to be way too cool. Let me know what you think, but I think it should go over there. Right now, let's get this engine in a truck, and let's make her make smoke. As if by magic, we're about ready to go in. The old 318's ready to pull out. We're going to put this one in her, and then we're going to make smoke. Oh, we're also going to hook up the dual exhaust, so that should be cool. Whew, and just like that, she's out. Now we got to put it on a stand and get that one in. I'll update you soon. Well, hey, would you look at that? The engine's in. And, would you look at that? I've got bad news about this engine. Again. For the third, fourth time now. Anyways, this engine was in a stick truck, which is fine. So it's got a drilled crankshaft for an input shaft. And the engine that came out of this truck has a drilled crankshaft for an input shaft for a manual. But this torque converter back here will not go into the crankshaft because it is a 1/16 of an inch too big. And we've got so much money in this thing that we really just don't want to buy another torque converter. So, I guess that means this engine comes back out yet again, and we'll do all the stuff we need to do to the other engine, because frankly, that engine runs fantastic. But after we put all this much money into this engine, there's no real reason to sell it, but it's given us so much of a headache, it's gonna go to somebody else's house so they can deal with it, if you know what I'm saying. So let's go out and look at that other engine and see what it'll show us. This mighty fine engine is what I would assume is the original engine from our 65. And the soft plugs are starting to get ugly, to say the least. Those look pretty bad. So, we're just gonna, put some soft plugs back in this thing, and we'll fix the manifold bolts, and we will put the dual exhaust on, because that just needs to happen. But I guess this little girl will be getting her engine that she wants anyways, because it hooks up to the 4-speed and all that good stuff. Who'd have known in 2 years there was a difference between crankshaft size and all this kind of stuff. As my dad would say, if this is a Chevrolet, it wouldn't do that. But also, if it was a Chevrolet, we wouldn't be able to touch it for what we got in these trucks. And I don't like being like everybody else and owning a Chevy. That's just not cool, To me. These are cool. And everybody and their grandpa has good stories about having a truck like that back on the farm back in the day. So, I guess, we'll see where this goes next. Alright, good news. So, we had a good friend of ours, Brad. He's a machinist and has been doing it forever. And he took the torque converter and he actually milled it down for us. So, now it fits. Believe it or not, was it the right thing to do? Maybe. Was it the cheapest thing to do? Yeah. Would I suggest doing that if you didn't have a buddy that was a machinist? No, probably not, because it probably wouldn't be cost effective. But for us, it was. Brad is a good guy, and I'm sure he'll probably do more for us in the future. But we're getting real close to making this thing run with this engine. And I don't know about you, but that makes me happy. I'm glad we didn't give up on it, because it's gonna be too good of an engine just to send to somebody else's house, if you know what I'm saying. But anyways, we'll get back to wiring this thing in and making her go again. We are that much closer to finally hearing this thing run. We gotta put the water hoses back on, we gotta fill up the radiator, the transmission's all hooked up, everything else is hooked up, everything's got fluid except for the radiator. And then we just gotta hear this puppy sing. We gotta break in the cam and do all the good stuff, so let's hope she fires and runs good. I'm not gonna lie to you. We already got this thing fired up, and it's running pretty good. We sorted some gremlins out. But, I wanted you to get what this thing really sounds like, and it is real nice. So, let me get you guys set up, and then we'll go over it. do you think of that? Not bad, huh? Let's go over this old can. Now that is pretty cool, huh? And let me just mention now that this engine's been cold for a few hours. I just went and had dinner and did all that kind of stuff, and it's cold. I didn't choke it, nothing, just boom, fired right up. But man, listen to that. Not so bad, huh? This thing's just purring like a kitten. I am unbelievably happy with this. That's just so cool. You know, I'm so happy. And if you had a feather in your butt, we'd both be tickled. But we got a few more things to do. We got a pretty good oil leak coming from the oil pressure sender back there. And we got to put the tailpipes on, which are a little bit too long there for a long bed. But as you see, this engine had the manifold where it sweeps around the oil pan there. Sorry for the blah. But now we've got pipes twice. Dual exhaust. One going out one side, one going out the other. We'll put an H pipe in it one of these days, but for now we're just gonna get her done. She's running fantastic oil pressure. Super happy with that. Haven't hooked up the temp gauge yet, but it runs fine, don't worry about it. Let's just get a little bit of that exhaust note back here. Now is that cool or what? I'll set you guys up and we'll give her some revs. This thing sounds pretty nice. Let's get you an exhaust note out the back too. I mean, does it really get any better than that? Because that is awesome. You know, just a little bit more to do to this and she's almost complete. Maybe we should paint the bed, maybe not. Maybe we should put the other fender on it, maybe not. I don't know. I think it's got some good charm with the two-tone bed and the garage and all that cool stuff. But before we head out on the road, I would really like to thank Gary and Bruce over at the 318 Poly group on Facebook. Those guys are such a wealth of knowledge. It's just crazy. Those guys know their stuff, and they've built, God, probably 100 of these, I would bet. But man, if you ever need any help with your 318 Poly, Bruce and Gary are the guys to talk to. Those guys are just delightful. I'll link the group down in the description down there. And anyways, let's get some more exhaust on this thing and let's go for a cruise. I think we're gonna have a pretty good time because this is gonna be a lot better. We're working on getting the oil line for the other truck, and one of our many parts trucks was so handy to give its up. But man, I have never seen an engine that's this dirty. Like, this is a farm truck. This is one of the ones that started it all from one of our original junkyard videos last year. Actually around this time. But holy cow, this thing is just insane. But hey, it's a premium 318 Poly with 202 horse. Aren't we in luck? Okay, maybe not. Anyways, let's go get that oil line installed and let's go for a drive. Well, would you just look at that? She's all but complete now. Few little things here and there. We got a little bit of a stumble right off of idle. But man, this thing runs sweet. Not a leak, not a tick, nothing. We'll have to go in and adjust the valves after she's been heated up a couple of times, but whew, that sounds pretty good. Dual exhaust is nice, huh? Well, what do you say we go for a short drive? See if she's any peppier or better. I'd have to say so. A little bit better than the old worn out engine, I'd say. Well, let's go. Well, we might as well go for a spin. That is going to be part of this soon. I'll keep you updated. Hope you're not shaking over there too much. I just set this up for what I got. I'll go for a drive. You know, it's been just over a year since we got this thing and brought it home and started working on it. She's came an awful long ways, I'd say. Also looks like we gotta wait for a train for a little while. I'm gonna go out what we call the River Road. It's a nice windy road that's a pretty good test area for this old girl. After we take a lot of our stuff because, well, quite frankly, it's off the highway and the road's wide enough where if you do break down, you can sit and wait and not have to worry about anybody going by and messing with you. Man, what good timing I have. The first for everything. A nice open road. Don't do too bad at all. We'll get her up to 50. Not bad. Bump off on our road here. Washington countryside. There's that big old train again over there. Right alongside him. Launch, why we call it River Road. Probably can't see the river from your perspective. It runs up pretty nice. And actually, that stumble I was talking about is gone. That's a bonus. Boy, if you can see, it's pretty smoky out. We've got wildfires in eastern Washington. We've got really bad wind that's blowing it this way. this engine. It's charging nice, it's got good oil pressure, doing everything else it's supposed to, and it's quite a bit peppier than that old one. Yeah, we're not going to win any races, but this truck was meant to enjoy. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, there is a shit accord out there. Those are blue herons, by the way. The more you know. Oh boy. We'll just go up to my favorite spot up here and turn around. I took a really nice picture of this truck that just looks fantastic out here. Boy, way smokier out this way than it is at home. Yeah, we'll go put 5, 6, 7, 8 miles on that. I don't know how far it is. It's a ways. Enough to get her up to operating temp and get the transmission warmed up and all that good stuff. Better watch out for cows. Here's our stop. Well, there you have it. The 1965 D100 lives again. Let's get out, walk around, and wrap this thing up. There you have it, boys and girls. That's going to be the end of this video. That's this 1965 Dodge D100, 318 poly, rebuild, build, engine swap, whatever you want to call it. Did we go with anything fancy? No. But man, has it improved this truck quite a lot. And thank you again to everybody that's helped, everybody that's shown us the way and done all the good stuff for us. I just want to thank you and all of our watchers and subscribers. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, give it a comment, let me know what you think. But anyways, thank you for watching, and have a nice day.